Well, good morning, Rotary District 7770, and welcome to Conversations with Rotary Action People for Monday, November 16th. My name is Donald Hovis, your CWRAP host from the CWRAP Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're pleased to be joined this morning by Executive Director of American Red Cross of the Low Country of South Carolina in North Charleston, Ashley Henyan. Good morning, Ashley. We look forward to your presentation in a few minutes. Couple of announcements, and we'll turn it over to you. Introducing your CWRAP team, our Public Image Chair from the 5 Points Rotary Club in Columbia, sporting her purple wig once again and her In Polio Now shirt. However, she says she's a little cold today. Mary Gass. Good morning, Mary. Thank you for being here. Folks that are on the Zoom call, thank you for being here, and happy Monday to you. Hope you got a wonderful weekend. Hope you watched South Carolina or Columbia, South Carolina native and Coastal Carolina graduate Dustin Johnson win the Masters. Really, really cool. Great weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful week this week. And finally, maybe some fall weather has arrived here in the beautiful Palmetto State. Introduce yourself via the chat box with your name, your Rotary Club, and today is National Fast Food Day. So what's your favorite fast food restaurant? I'm a Chick-fil-A guy. Can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A. So definitely, I'm sure we'll have some fellow Chick-fil-A lovers here as well. Look at there. Moe's. Moe's is great too. I agree. Good job. Good job. All right. Ashley, we're excited to have you with us this morning. So I want you to take it away.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for having me today, everybody. I think that I am a Wendy's girl. I cannot, as soon as it gets into my mind that I want to have a cheeseburger, a kid's meal cheeseburger from Wendy's, that's what I go and grab through the drive-thru. So happy National Fast Food Day, everybody. So my name's Ashley Henyan, and I'm the Executive Director for the Red Cross of Low Country, South Carolina. And today I want to talk about positioning your brand for good through the power of compelling stories. So everybody has a story. But if you start to think about it, what's your story, and what kind of thoughts and feelings or empathetic reaction does that invoke? Even more importantly, what is your personal, professional, or company's brand story? If you take a look at some of these well-known logos here on the screen, and kind of just zone in on one of them, pick one, take a good look at it, and just take a mental note inside your head what thoughts or feelings come up when you take a look at that logo. I picked Nike, and the first thing that I saw was a very, very toned athlete. I saw the story of an athlete persevering and accomplishing their goals. And so to me, that logo evokes goals. If you want to share in the chat box what logo you picked and what thoughts or feelings came up immediately when you looked at it, please go ahead now. But now I'd like all of us to focus on the center logo, of course, the American Red Cross logo, and the name and the brand. And just think to yourself what thoughts or feelings come up immediately when you look at that logo. Now, I've asked a lot of different audiences this same question, and 99% of the time, the answer is help, hope, the fact that everything's going to be okay when they see that logo. And that's a great feeling for a brand or a logo to evoke. So when we think about stories, we have to think about our own stories, right? So starting with my story as an example, I did not always start out as a nonprofit executive. I actually began my early career as an athlete and then as a Division I college diving coach. I was the head coach for the men's and women's team down in Boca Raton, Florida at Florida Atlantic University. From there, I had an opportunity to work on the stunt side of the film industry. So I actually moved out to Los Angeles and worked for 10 years on the fitness side of the entertainment industry and the stunt performing stunts for film and television and commercials on that side of the entertainment industry. But one day I moved to a new apartment, and that apartment was about a 2 blocks walk away from the American Red Cross of Los Angeles. And I started looking into what I could do there, and I found out I could volunteer at blood drives every Saturday. And I started volunteering at blood drives, and I did this for a good year and a half, every single Saturday, and sometimes during the week as my time would allow. And what I saw was every 56 days, which is the amount of time that you can wait between whole blood donation to your next whole blood donation, I would see the same people like clockwork coming back into that blood drive every 56 days and giving a part of themselves to save a complete stranger. And I had a epiphany. I had a realization that I could do a lot more with my life if I was working for a company like the American Red Cross that was saving lives every single day. So I went back to school. I got my master's degree. I started working part-time in digital communications at the Red Cross, and I started telling the story of the American Red Cross, managing 7 different social media channels for the Los Angeles region. And then I actually had an opportunity to move to Atlanta, Georgia, where I moved about 2 years ago, and was able to manage media relations across the state of Georgia. And there I really became a storyteller of the Red Cross. I joined the, I was awarded a position on the National Communications spokesperson team, and was able to deploy to heart-wrenching disasters. An example would be a tornado that struck Lee County, Alabama on March 3rd, 2017, and it killed 23 people in a very, very rural, close-knit community. And it was tragic, and it was a sight to see, and it really brought me closer to our mission and the work that the Red Cross does. Today, I'm the executive director for the Red Cross of Lowcountry, South Carolina. And so we serve 9 counties right down here in Southeast South Carolina. And it's hard to see the words I see on this map, but it's really the fact that we are one chapter of the South Carolina region, and we are all one Red Cross. So our Lowcountry chapter is part of the South Carolina Red Cross, and the South Carolina Red Cross is part of the National American Red Cross. And of course, the National American Red Cross is part of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Society, one of hundreds of organizations across the globe who work together and have each other's back in various ways to help people in need. So at the American Red Cross, we are fortunate to be surrounded by stories of help and hope, commitment and compassion, and generosity and gratitude. And for 140 years, these stories have really shaped our brand. It's hard to differentiate the brand from the stories or the stories from the brand. And I want to go ahead and share the audio on my screen and take a minute for you to hear a story firsthand from a client that we have helped recently in the western wildfires that have devastated much of California and Oregon.
Last Tuesday, the winds picked up really bad. The fire was just coming down the canyon. You could see the top of the trees up the hill. They were all on fire. And you could just see the fire as it would blow to the next tree. Embers all in the air. The most scariest part about our evacuation was our baby. The time we took and put him in his car seat outside the door to load him in our minivan. The air itself just really got to him. Out of all of that, I think that was the most terrifying thing for both of us, was his breathing. So we came to the evacuee center this last Wednesday. We called the Red Cross. They told us to come here and that they would help us. So we packed our minivan up and we came here, and they walked up to us and said, "Mary, would you like to be put in a hotel?" And I said, I just started crying because we don't have that much money right now to our name. No matter what happened, I knew that I was going to have my husband and my kids and our dog, and we made it out okay. I can't imagine the families that have lost more than just their housing, what they're going through. So many businesses and so many families are gone. The compassion that the Red Cross has shown for us as a family, I've never had anybody just come through and that doesn't even know me or know my family and just drop everything to help us. We know we can build back up, but we didn't want our child to go without anything that he didn't have to, and that was one thing we were extremely grateful for as a family, because without the Red Cross and the donations, we wouldn't know where to turn in this time, and so we just really want to say thank you. I don't know where we would be right now, or if we would even have a home for our son, and to know that we have everything we need and he doesn't have to go without during this time has been extremely helpful, and we're just really grateful.
So I've seen that a few times, and every time I fight back the tears. But that's the story of the Red Cross. When you think of storytelling and outside of being an executive director with the Red Cross, I have a master's degree in screenwriting, and I'm almost finished with my MFA in creative writing. So I know a thing or two about stories, and the thing with it is what makes them compelling is when you have an interesting character that has a definite goal, but they have an extreme obstacle standing in their way of accomplishing that goal. And the Red Cross brand, what we do is we are the heroes that step in and remove that obstacle, make that obstacle go completely away at times, like for the family that you just saw where they needed a safe place for their child. But the obstacle standing in their way was a wildfire. And because of the help of the Red Cross team, the Red Cross volunteers and staff, they had a safe place to keep their child. This next example is a bit closer to home. A large-scale apartment fire occurred in Charleston County just a few weeks ago, one of 3 during the month of October, where we helped more than 50 individuals at each fire make sure that they had a safe place to stay, replacement of medications, food and clothing, and of course, counseling and emotional support to help get them on the road to recovery. So a local home fire story is next.
It was hard to see your whole life just completely destroyed, like everything was gone. To walk in and see where your kids were sleeping, there's no ceiling over it. We all just stood there and cried for about 20 minutes because it's like leaving your entire life. Everything you've worked really hard for is just gone. Literally the most overwhelming feeling of just good and feeling completely blessed. They've had something to sleep on since this all happened because of the Red Cross. They are wearing clothes right now that aren't the clothes that came from the apartment, which were nasty, because of the Red Cross. They have food and groceries because of the Red Cross. Like everything that we have right now is because of the Red Cross. Y'all should be wearing Red Cross capes. I'm serious. You really should. And I'm more than thankful. More than thankful.
So I'm going to take my audio out just to make sure that there's no echo, but I want to talk now about what the Red Cross does, our mission, and it's on the screen, and I realize it's small, but the mission of the American Red Cross is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. We make sure that people have a safe place to stay after disasters. Of our 5 lines of service, disaster is probably one of the most recognizable ones, but 170 times a day across the country, we are responding to emergencies like home fires or large-scale disasters like Hurricane Sally and Ada that have recently wreaked havoc on the Gulf Coast, and of course all the wildfires out west. The other line of service that comes to mind quickly when people think of the Red Cross is our blood, our biomedical program, providing life-saving blood to hospital patients in need. But 13,000 blood donations are required every day to meet the constant demand that we have from hospitals. The Red Cross supplies about 40% of the nation's blood across the country, and that 13,000 pints of blood is a huge number to meet every single day to make sure that cancer patients and accident victims and mothers having complications during childbirth and routine surgeries all have the life-saving blood that they need. We work with the nation's military. We serve military members and their families, provide emergency communications for deployed service members and their families. And every day we are providing about 1,300 of these services to members of the military and their families. One thing that we do is we work internationally. So the Red Cross helps to reunite families through our Restoring Family Links program that have been separated by war, migration, disaster, any humanitarian crisis across the globe. We also, as part of that, work to provide measles and rubella vaccinations. About 621,000 children a day receive these vaccinations thanks to the work of our Red Cross team and our partners. And then, of course, we are training folks in skills that save lives. So on the big picture, on the national level, we are training more than 13,000 people every day in skills like CPR, first aid, AED, water safety, lifeguarding, all those skills that save lives and help people have peace of mind as they go about their work or recreational activities. Closer to home here in the Low Country, the 9 counties that I serve currently, we're supported by nearly 600 active volunteers, and we manage about 500 local disaster cases a year. That means that we're helping around 1,500 people last fiscal year alone after local emergencies like home fires and floods. As part of our work, we help to reduce deaths and injuries related to home fires. So with that, we're installing free smoke alarms nationwide since 2014, but right here in South Carolina, we've saved, it says 78 on the screen, but now it's up over 80 lives due to this campaign where we know that our volunteers have gone in, installed the free smoke alarms, and later there's been a fire in that home and they were able to escape and get out safely because of that free smoke alarm that we installed. And then, of course, we're working on the blood side. We are working to collect life-saving blood to make sure that anybody that needs it has access to the life-saving blood they need in the type that they need for them. We conducted about 2,400 blood drives last fiscal year just in the Low Country, and that's collecting around 30,000 pints of life-saving blood that goes to meet the needs of local hospitals in South Carolina first. And then because we are a national network, we can send blood where it is needed the most, whether it's a rare type or whether it's just for a routine procedure. So all of this said, how can you position your personal or professional brand to align with the story of the American Red Cross, to align with the story of help and hope and our heroes that are out there serving the community with good every single day? there's 3 ways. There's 3 ways to do it, and all of them have a great need. There's always opportunities to volunteer with the Red Cross. And that can be, you can volunteer as a fundraiser. You can help raise money for the Red Cross. You can volunteer as a disaster responder who deploys out of state to help with those large scale emergencies. Think Hurricane Harvey, think the Western wildfires, the Camp Fire, those large scale disasters. You can volunteer with our local military service members and their families at VA centers and on military bases. And then, of course, you can give blood or you can host a drive. There are numerous ways to sponsor a blood drive and partner your brand right along with the Red Cross in an effort that tangibly is saving lives. When you think that every single pint of blood collected can save up to 3 lives, and right now the fact that as we collect whole blood, we are testing for COVID-19 antibodies free of charge to the donors. And if they come back with a certain result of that test, we'll test them again. And then our labs have the ability to pull a convalescent plasma donation right from that whole blood and send that to potentially 4 people in the hospital who are severely ill from COVID-19. And then, of course, there's financial contributions as a way of aligning your brand with the Red Cross brand for good. And those can come through corporate sponsorships. We have a virtual wine auction coming up with the Red Cross. They can be through workplace giving campaigns where employees of your organization give a small amount every pay period toward the Red Cross. They can come from corporate donations or individual donations. You can even actually just text, I think it's a Red Cross to 90999 and give just $10 right from your phone. So there's a lot of ways to contribute financially where you can share that afterwards on your social media channels and let everybody know that you have aligned your personal brand or your professional brand with the good name of the American Red Cross and all the feelings that our brand evokes. At this point, I'm going to just open it up for questions. I think I went 2 minutes over, so we're doing pretty good on time. I think we do have a little bit of time for questions. I want you guys to know if you want any information about becoming a volunteer, doing group volunteer activities, when it's safe to do so, if you would like information about donating blood or hosting a drive, or if you would like to hear more about how you can partner financially with the Red Cross, to please just reach out. My information is on the screen. I can even post it in the chat when I'm done. But I'd love to open it up for questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
Well, thank you, Ashley. If someone has a question for you, if you would please post that in the chat box. We'll give you guys a few moments to get those in there.
And I'm just typing my information in. I'm looking at the responses from the beginning. I like that. I like that that everybody participated. And the former employee of Delta, Trust Delta. We love Delta too. They're one of our national partners of our disaster program, and one of the largest corporate partners for collecting life-saving blood. So we trust Delta too. Thank you so much for your participation, everyone.
We do appreciate it. I don't see any questions at this point, so I'm going to run through some announcements. Her contact information has just been posted in the chat. Oh, there's one question. Here we go. Is there a time limit?
Okay, yes.
Is there a time limit to donate blood if you come from the UK during the mad cow disease scare?
So there are restrictions for donating blood, and I do know that some of these restrictions have recently been eased up. The way that blood works is that blood is considered a drug and is regulated by the FDA. So the Red Cross does not create these rules and regulations, but the Food and Drug Administration does. And so we have to follow their standards and guidelines. The best way to find out the exact restrictions surrounding where you lived, if you lived overseas, and as related to mad cow disease specifically, is to go to redcrossblood.org, and you can look under eligibility for donating blood. Thanks for that question.
All right, I will run through some closing announcements now. If there's another question posted, I will call out to you, Ashley. Coming up on Wednesday, folks, we have Walter Hughes talking with us about the Ghana water in schools. On Friday, we have Katie Bear from the Assistant Service Dog Education Center. Also a reminder, it is happy hour on Thursday from 5 to 6:30. If you want to know how to log on to that, it's over Zoom. It's on the calendar in DACDB. And then also a reminder, folks, next week, we will not have a CWRAP program on Wednesday the 25th or Friday the 27th due to the Thanksgiving holidays. We hope you will enjoy those, and we will obviously miss you, but we'll be back on Monday, November 30th. Is Red Cross a United Way funded agency? And if so, does your employee campaigns clash with the United Way campaigns?
So that's a great question. Sometimes, yes, local United Ways determine, from what I know, they determine where their focus is and where their focus on funding is. Some of our Red Cross chapters across South Carolina are funded by the United Way. Some of them are not. Currently, we are not funded by the United Way in the Low Country. And we look at the United Way as a community partner. And so as far as the workplace giving campaigns go, we actually have our workplace giving expert employee go with the United Way workplace giving expert employee, and we do joint presentations at many of the City of Charleston, for instance, County of Charleston, Berkeley County, and we go in together and partner with this and provide the option for employees to choose which nonprofit they would like to send their hard-earned money to help the greater good. Thank you for that question. Thank you.
Well, Ashley, once again, thank you for today. Thank you to those folks that did join us. One last announcement. You can see on the Rotary International District 7770 Facebook page about the Zone Summit that is going to be virtual. You can still sign up for those sessions as well. Folks, have a great Monday. I will end with the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you on Wednesday for the next conversation with Rotary Action People. Take care. That's a wrap.